This conference will now be recorded.
Hello students, I'm Dr. Divya from TeenEinstein. So now we are learning the biology chapters of 8th standard, and our first chapter is crop prediction and improvement, and this is first part. So in this chapter we are learning about agricultural practices, then basic practice of crop production, then preparation of soil, agricultural implements, then sowing, adding manure and fertilizer, irrigation, protection from weeds, then how to harvest, harvesting, and after harvesting, how to store, then food from animals, then animal husbandry. About these many topics we are learning in this chapter. So, here, all about the agricultural practices we are going to learn. Okay, so let's see about agriculture practices. So, we know that there are many people in India where generally those people, those farmers, they are really depending upon farming, right? Several people are there, they are depending upon farming. And how to approach this? How it will become a part of life? See, the whole world, they are depending upon this agricultural businesses for food, right? So compared to earlier times, now the agriculture practices, they have improved. Agricultural practices, people are trying to bring so many improvements in agriculture practices. See, earlier we were doing this agriculture only based on raining time and climatic conditions and all. At the same time, here nowadays farmers are trying, or the new practices they are trying to bring out in their farming, right? So what is the use of all those agriculture practices, new methods and all, new methods, new inventions and all? Actually, throughout the year the production is able to maintain with such new inventions, right? So throughout the year it's possible to continue farming. So we know that our population is increasing, but what about the land area? That is not increasing. And about the cultivation area, cultivation area, that is the same, right? And the people, those who are coming to this agriculture practices, that also should be there, right? So the groups who, those who are involved or those who are doing this farming practices, they should cultivate more, they should give more number of cultivation per year. That should be more. So in all the climate, to meet the food demand, nowadays to meet the food demand, they need to cultivate more times. So if you are waiting for the right climate or right agricultural practices, in the sense uh, based on climatic conditions or rainy seasons, if you're waiting, how many times we can do the cultivation per year? It's impossible to do the required quantity, right? See, we can imagine it's not possible. Rainy season will get once or twice in a year. So what we will do, how much we can cultivate, and the crop duration, that we need to think about all those things. Crops or vegetables, whatever it may be, we should get improved varieties, right? Which need minimum water, or which is having less duration for maturation. It should take l- minimum number of days. So like that, different changes we can bring in this agriculture practices, right? And irrigation, we know water is very less. So what we can do, that water which we are using for this irrigation purpose, that we should use in an effective way. So in all the way we can make changes, right? So agricultural practices means, here you can say agricultural practices means for agribusiness, utilization of the effective methods. See, that is for the better results, for agriculture business and better result. We need to bring the best agriculture practices. So people are trying to increase the standards or the assortment of standards to create the maximum result. Okay, so nowadays these farming practices, all the farming practices, so all these farming practices which are applied to horticulture, and they are helping to make the nourishment, right? Crop nourishment, they are planning for that. And researchers, they are through their critical thinking, they are developing good yielding varieties, and which is giving food for whole population, good yielding varieties. Okay, so to give a good food to the whole population, people are trying. So here, different methods to perform or to do this, to practice this good agriculture practices, which is able to provide food for the whole world in a in an effective way, that is called as agriculture practices. So agriculture practices means better, through research they're trying to find out better results or trying to give best results to feed the whole world, and nourishment in that area, or better varieties which is giving better yield, and new ideas they are trying to bring for the production, food production. So that is called as agriculture practices. So here, bringing new ideas in these practices, which is saving time, which is saving money, which is giving good food, enriched food, that is very important. Okay, and here we are going to learn about different agricultural practices which is helping for good results. So first we need to, different practices are there. First one is the preparation of the soil. We know that it starts from the soil. Now that is also getting replaced with new methods. Okay. So first, in majority of cases, what we are doing, preparation of soil, that is the basic one. First, soil should be ready, right? So we know that soil, that is very essential substance in the rural practice of the vegetables and all, right? That is very important. Which one? And what we are doing in this method? In this method, the improving the earth or the soil before planting seeds. In preparation of soil, improvement of soil condition. When before planting the seeds or before doing the planting, preparing the soil, making sure that the soil is ready to give a result. So here, to improve the supplements in the dirt, different strategies are utilized. Right. So that dirt or the soil that is having living and non-living creatures. Okay. So dirt is having living and non-living creatures. Okay. And this both part, living and non-living, living part as well as the non-living, both should get improved. And this both together contribute towards harvesting in the sense development and improvement in the crop. Okay. So here first we need to tell about the living part. Like we can say the microorganisms, worms are there, then microorganisms are there. So these microorganisms, what are all included in microorganism? Like nitrogen fixing microbes, nitrogen fixing microbes are there. Then some decaying, some microorganisms which are helping for the decaying of the materials, that is there. And non-living parts, non-living parts which are they, like supplements, then water, then water, minerals, supplements. See, all these together, that is forming the dirt, right? So all these are helping for the development of the good agricultural practices. So here, setting all these that can uphold the harvest development in a very good way, and that can contribute towards good agriculture practices or a good harvest. Okay. So how you can plan this? Actually, in which way you can plan this before seeding? Okay. First, you need to test the soil. Soil we need to test, and we need to check that whether it is really ready. Before establishing the crop, we need to test the soil to make sure that all contents, everything is available. Okay. So what and all we'll do, or how we will make the soil ready? That's the next one which we are going to learn. How to make the soil ready. This is a question. Okay, so here the exercises which we are using to make the soil ready, they are plowing. Plowing is there, then leveling, second one, then watering. So all these are the steps to make the soil ready for seeding. Okay, so first one, let's see the plowing. Or this is plowing is a method which is involving the soil in a relaxed, or that through this procedure, through plowing, the soil is getting ready in a relaxed way, or that is a relaxing of the ground. Okay, then what will happen if the ground is in a relaxed state? What will happen? It will help the interaction between the earth and the minerals, right? All the minerals and all the nutrients will come up, right? And if the soil is in a loose way, what will happen? Proper oxygenation that is taking place. So earlier way, in earlier days and all, how we were finishing all this with the help of bulls or with some other small equipments, right? But now trucks are there, and like tractors and all there, you know that we are utilizing new techniques to furrow the land. So that's the method of plowing, or that's the technique of plowing. Next comes leveling. Leveling, we said, see, now in a plowed stage, plowing over. So after plowing, what will happen? The soil will be in a loose condition. But next, we need to level the ground before seeding. So this is a method which is making the ground surface even. Making ground surface in an even condition, right? And before seeding, we need to make sure that the surface or the ground that is in an even condition. Okay, and after this, after making it an even condition, or the surface is in the same level, next is watering. Okay, that's the third one, watering. So watering means what we are doing in this, the dry soil to wet soil. Through watering, what we are doing, the dry soil we are making into wet condition. Okay, this is required to provide that the dirt which is in a dry condition, that should come into a wet condition. Okay, so when the soil is wet with the water, that will give some unique situations or conditions. Okay, now plowing is done, leveling is done, then watering also. So one complete preparation is over, right? So first you made the soil ready. right? Next, planting the planting or sowing the seeds, right? Soil is ready, planting or sowing of seeds. See, here we need to select good seeds, right? Which crop variety we are going to take up sowing, that we need to decide, and from that, after selecting the crop, good ones we need to select for sowing, good seeds. So planting means that is the methodology of covering the sound seeds or the good seeds in the soil. Okay, so first we need to begin with proper seed selection or good seed selection. Okay, then guidelines we need to follow, and by following the guidelines we need to plant the seeds, right? So first appropriate seed choice, then planting. Physically we need to plant that with good guidelines. Okay, we can use machineries or physical direct methods we can use. So seed choice, here seed choice, that is very essential, or that should be in a proper way so that we should get a satisfactory result from that. Okay, and in some cases what we need to do, direct planting is not direct planting, or seeding is not possible. In the case of can you guess few crops like paddy, in that what we will do, first the seeds are developed into seedlings. Seeds we need, will choose the best seeds, then we'll develop seedlings, and from that seedlings then we will move to the field level. Planting of that seedlings will take place. So they are first developed into seedlings, and later they'll be moved into the fundamental field where the rice is developed, then to fundamental field, okay, where the cultivation is taking place. Okay, then the seeds we can store for future usage also. We can store this some species, then later we can utilize this for planting. So great quality seeds or clean and good or sound seeds with high yielding, they can, those kind of seeds can be utilized for this planting. And some seeds if you are storing for long term, that will get dried. So what we can do, we can store them in water, and later after soaking for few hours or few days, we can take it for planting, or we can utilize. Okay, then we know very well these crops after planting they need to get water, then the nutrients and all. So how to utilize this manure and fertilizer? Utilization of manure and fertilizer. Now generally as an introduction what we are telling, this is all these include agriculture practices. Now we are explaining about agriculture practices. Okay, general explanation we are learning. We are trying to give now about each topic we will learn in detail. Okay, so agriculture practices includes all these steps. So utilization of manure and fertilizer, when we are coming to this point, what we will do first, we need to prepare soil, then we need to select the crop, and from that best type of seed which is suitable for our condition, that we need to take, right? Then we need to plant that in the right field. After that, we need to provide extra manure and fertilizer for the proper growth, right? So crops, they need supplements. Crops need supplements. We know that crops need supplements, and that supplements that is helping to give a good yield, isn't it? So the inventory supplements, or we need to provide the basic nutrients. So for that, what we can do, we can supply the compost or the manures. Okay. Otherwise, sometimes they'll provide chemical fertilizers also to enhance the nutrients, availability of nutrients. And we know what is manure. See, manure means the compound which is having plant supplements, and they are industrial creation of the supplements we can do. And manure means organic supplements. In this, no chemicals. But for commercial purpose, farmers are using fertilizers also, which are the chemical supplements. Okay. So other than manure, chemical fertilizers are also supplying to these crops. So that gives good result. Okay. Then other than this, vermicompost. That is one good supplement. And planting leguminous plants. Planting legumes. Why? Because they have the nitrogen fixing bacteria or nitrogen fixing microbes which can help, which can supplement extra nitrogen, which is helpful for the crop. So if you're adding these kind of things to the soil, what will happen? Manures or fertilizers or other this nitrogen supplying legumes, water, maybe all these are helping for the development of plant. These are helping for the development of plants, right? And finally, it is adding to the yield, right? So here we can say the manure that is having synthetic substances, which is having the supplements like nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. So manure is having nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, and this is helping the soil to give or to be in a good condition to give the maximum yield. Okay. So now supplements we need to provide for the growth. That is one step. Then another next, what we need to do in good agriculture practice is irrigation. Irrigation means supplying of water, that also in right quantity at the right time. Right time. And in the case of supplements also, we need to keep the same theory, right quantity at the right time. Okay, irrigation means that is the in this case we are providing water. Okay, so that is helping for the yield. See, water, we know that water is helping for germination of the seeds. Then this supplements, whatever supplements we are providing, supplement retention. For that, water is helping. Then for maintaining the temperature. And for photosynthesis. Water is having a vital role in photosynthesis. Okay, and it's for maintaining the temperature, germination of seeds, and supplements that should reach in the body. So how it is reaching in the body of plants, in the plant body? Through water, or along with water it is getting absorbed to the plant body, right? And for photosynthesis also it is playing a very good role. Which one? Water. See, during this depending upon the downpours, we can say depending upon upon rain, earlier we were planning our crops, but now that is not sufficient. So what we need to do, we need to provide artificially irrigation, we need to provide from water resources, right? If we are depending only upon the rainy season, or the if you are depending only upon the downpours, it's not easy to cultivate this much huge quantity. We cannot meet the right quantity. Okay, so we need to cultivate throughout the year. So for that, we need to plan for irrigation also. From various sources, we need to get water, and by using different techniques and different water assets like a well, the stream, then tanks, trenches, all these things. We need to depend upon all these things, and then we need to plan for a good irrigation also. And not only this, groundwater extraction. Groundwater also we need to utilize. And for that, customized techniques we need to provide, like groundwater extraction, then tanks. We need to keep tanks, we need to store water, and whenever the crop is required water, we need to provide that through new watering methods. Okay, and some crop, they cannot withstand the water logging. Okay, water logging, that may be harmful to some crops. Okay, so this water system should be controlled. So water system also should be controlled. Okay, so for the entry of water to the field, water channels should be provided. Okay, and what are the traditional techniques? The traditional techniques like channels or pulley framework, we can say. Then methods like that, from rivers or from streams, we can bring the water. Okay, then we can utilize water from wells or from groundwater, we can extract, and that we can bring to fields. Then advanced techniques. Which are the advanced technique? Drip, sprinkler, all these are the advanced techniques. See, what is the benefit in this new techniques? Drip or sprinkler. See, we know that there is a shortage of water, right? So if we need to bring the cultivation practices in a good way to get the maximum yield, we need to provide, or we have to provide water. But how we can do that in a useful way or without wastage of water? There comes the importance of this drip and sprinkler. Okay, drip means you are giving very less water, and whenever it is required, okay, you are keeping the moist condition or wet condition of that ground or the land. Okay, see, instead of that, through channels, see, this is the field, and through channels you are giving water. Here everywhere it will go. But if you're giving a drip irrigation system, here these are the plants, you're planting your plants, and through this you are giving a drip line, and wherever the plants are there drop wise the water is going. So that part will become wet, and here extra water wastage you can reduce even in the sprinkler also. Okay, just like drizzling, you can sprinkle the water, not more than that. Okay, that extra wastage of water you can prevent here. So here soil is ready, seed is ready now, and uh, plowing, planting, then providing nutrients, then irrigation, right? Then after planting, just think that after planting the plants, or it is so it is germinating, you are providing nutrients, it is growing, and if you are giving irrigation, not only the crop plant, along with the crop plant, weeds also will grow, right? So the undesirable plants in the field, that is called as weeds. So weeding is next step. Okay, growth of undesirable plants in the field. See, you're providing water, you're providing manure. So all these things are utilized by the undesirable or unwanted plants also. They're also getting water, they're also getting nutrients. So that will definitely grow. That is called as those unwanted plants in the field. They are called as weeds. So they, if weeds are there, what will happen? Those weeds also will utilize this water and nutrients. So the whatever you are supplying to the crop, you're calculating that crop and supplying, that will be utilized by this unwanted plants. So you have to remove the unwanted plants which is present in that field. Why? Because weeds, that is also plant, like other plant, like the crop plant, that is also a plant, that also need water, daylight, space, all the supplements and all. So the whatever you are providing to the crop, that is utilized with by the weeds also. So weeds, we need to remove the weeds either manually or with the harrow, right? Weeds we need to remove. How? Manual method or by harrow we can remove. Okay, So after removing, we need to particular time whenever weeds are developing, we need to remove that, otherwise that will absorb the water and nutrients. Next step is growing the plants and supplying the right even pesticide, weedicide, or the chemicals or whatever it is required in the right stage. We need to provide, we need to remove the weeds, and we need to control the diseases. Then if the plant is growing and the crop duration is getting over, then comes the harvesting. Next step, harvesting. Okay, harvesting means when the yield which is developed and completely developed, we need to make sure that it is completely developed. The crop duration is over. Okay, which is having that crop is having natural grains and natural products. We should cut and isolate. Cut and isolate the crop. Okay, then grains. This grain should be isolated from the isolation of grains from the plants, and that also involve different techniques like winnowing, threshing, then gathering the seeds or the grains from the main source and collecting that yield. This will be in a specific season, and vegetables and all we need to physically we need to separate. For everything we need to use the physical method or manual method, and the newly developed methods we can utilize. So the grains should be separated from the plant, and that should be, or the husk which is left after collecting the grains, that we can remove, and or that grains we can store in a proper way, and the husk that we can utilize for some other purposes. Okay, then comes after harvesting storage, right? We need to dry the grains, then after that we need to store that in a good way. Where we'll store? In the godowns. Okay, so huge amount of grains in a large godown, that is also a risky process. See, up to harvesting we reached, then we need to safely keep the grains or store the grains. That is the next hectic process, because there are so many insects which may come in the storage godown also, and they can, what they can do, they can spoil these stored grains. We know that at home, if you're getting the pulses or grains, whatever it may be, there some insects will be there, those who are eating this stored grains, right? They'll multiply in a very faster way. So what we can do while storing, we can utilize some methods to protect, okay, to safeguard that from the microorganisms or the more or some organisms or the insects. So what we'll do, some synthetic medicines we can utilize, or the natural methods, or here also natural methods or chemicals or medicines we can use to protect from the insects. Okay, and we need to store this in a proper way, and from this we need to get the next season sowing material also, right? So we need to protect the crop even for food purpose and the sowing purpose. For both we need to take from this. Okay, so these are the basic agricultural practices, stepwise practices which we are following for crop production. Clear? So what and all we said? First one is plowing, making the soil ready. Then selecting the seed, right? After selecting the seed, what we did? Then irrigation practices. We need to make different irrigation practices. We need to supply the manure, right? At right time. Then weeding. Weeds should get removed. Then it will grow. Plant will grow, and seasonal or the right time supply of all these manures, water, then again the weeding. Weeds should be removed always, otherwise the nutrients will go to the weeds also, right? Then it won't reach to the cropland in a right quantity, so that also may affect the yield. So all these practices should go in a definite way so that we can ensure the maximum production. That's how we need to learn a good agriculture practice. Okay, so these agriculture practices and the supplement of the manure, then irrigation, all these will be different for different crops. It is depending upon the crop which we are selecting. Okay, so here the basic things for agriculture practices that we have learned. In the next class, we'll be learning the next topic, like basic practice of crop production that we need to learn in the next class. Okay, thank you.